Back for another round of the farm vlog. I am currently on Interstate 64 heading up to St. Louis, back to some of my old stomping grounds to go to Winchester Spine and Sport with for a TMJ seminar with Brett Winchester and a dentist buddy of his, Dr. I think it's Brenner. Yeah, the main story of this vlog is my trip. It's the Prague vlog, the vlog Prague. So starting, gosh, what now? It is September 8th. So crazy whirlwind past 3 weeks. So the week before I was supposed to leave for Prague, I was supposed to leave, I believe, the 20th of August to go to Prague for the final. Not really final, there's a lot more to come, but the final certification class to be a DNS or Dynamic Neuromuscular Stabilization practitioner. And you go to Prague, you go to the hospital there, Motel Hospital. But on Monday, the week before, we got a call that my grandma was not doing well, and we literally had to jump ship that day and drive up to Illinois. So I want to give kudos to my staff and all the doctors at our office. They just picked up, and I honestly don't think my patients even care if I'm there anymore because everybody else does such a good job, which is awesome. So I go up to Illinois, have to pack for this, more than a week-long trip prior to that, get up there, have a great time, hang out with family, and then head out for Prague, which had to switch my flights, which started to cause the initial chaos. So I fly from Bloomington, Illinois to Atlanta. So I'm sitting here in Atlanta airport, been here since 8 this morning. So what do you do? Get to the Atlanta airport. I have the option to change my flight because of a delay. I try to do that. That doesn't go through, and then I lose my seats on my other flight, so I have to start going through this process, which should have been a foreshadowing for things to come. I then fly from Atlanta to Charles de Gaulle to Paris airport, and I have a pretty short layover considering that I have to go through 3 different security checkpoints for an international flight. As I'm going through the Paris airport, as soon as I get off the jetway from the plane in Paris, which was an Air France plane operated by Delta, which was part of the story here, I realize I've left my wallet in the seat back pocket. Here's a disclaimer. When they give you the warning over the intercom when you're exiting an airplane, do not forget your belongings because you're not allowed back on the plane, they mean it. I was maybe 30 feet outside the jetway, went back. They would not let me back on, just said you're going to have to wait until somebody takes the luggage or baggage. I didn't have time to do that. Luckily, I had in my passport wallet, my driver's license, and all the $80 of the cash that I had. So I'm losing it. I have time to go to the Air France counter. They're no help at all. I get on my flight. I run into Lindsay Muma in line. I'm kind of telling her what's happening. I'm also checking the Delta app and realizing, like, man, my bag's not updating. Maybe it's because I switched from Delta to Air France. And now I'm flying from Paris to Prague. I get to Prague, no bag. So no wallet, no luggage. That it's all good. I'm in Prague, meet up with a bunch of people that are already there. I was one of the last people to get into town. Lo and behold, my luggage shows up 2 days later, which is great. Jeff, thanks for letting me borrow a shirt. So this is a week-long, 5 days in the Motel Hospital. Now, this was a bigger group than normal. There were 42 of us, I believe, from all over the world. Big Japanese conglomerate, a few from Australia, a lot from the US, a couple from Sweden. So they had to split us into what's called the Good Move Clinic, which is downtown Prague, and then the Motel Hospital, which is the original communist, like Cold War era hospital that's now getting a facelift, as what George said. He was trying to think of the American word facelift for the hospital, so it was under a bunch of construction while we were there. This is an old hospital without air conditioning, and this was unseasonably hot weeks, so that made it quite fun for detoxing out the night before festivities. So my group spent 5 days in the Motel Hospital learning from the Prague PTs, the Prague international instructors. There's also an international instructor meeting, so all of the instructors were there. Some of my buddies, Brett Winchester, Rich Olm. It's great to hang out with everybody. Fantastic group. I mean, I don't Brad Muse, Nick Hedges, Taylor Primer, Lindsay Muma, Audra Lance, uh, Jeff Barron, Kyle Thompson, Keith Yoho. I mean, the list goes on and on. Just a bunch of people. Forrest Allen, all these people were there. So it was a fantastic group to hang out with, learn with, get to know some of these people. Some of these people I knew who they were, but I'd never met them in person. So it's good to finally get to put a name of the face for some of these people. Well, the first day we were all together, we had a lecture by Pablo Collage. Then
inspect, see clinical
then by Brett, and then by Rich. All great talks. We got to see Pablo work up a patient, and then we go out and have a good time that night. And then Tuesday, we split into our groups. We have our work day at the hospital for us, the other group at Good Moves. And that night, there is a party at Pablo Collage's summer home, which they rent 2 charter buses. The Prague school does 2 charter buses, take all of us yahoos out to his summer home, and he had a fantastic party with great food, great booze. Everybody was there, all the instructors. Some new instructors were christened, Bob Newhafen. Fantastic party, a little bit too much to drink. Alana sent us out the door back onto the bus with a bunch of bottles of white wine, and I wish to God I had Brett Winchester's rallying message to us. He stood up and like a general or a head coach gave us a mission how we needed to go out after that party, which we did and had a good time, went to a casino and got a little American. We were told this is not Vegas, so we had a great time. Full rest of the week, we're in multi-hospital, learning from the instructors. Then we did live case studies, which was amazing. So they worked up actual patients, which we got to be a part of. You're having input, feedback. You're actually working with the patients, which patients are awesome. I can't imagine that going over like it did there in America. It all culminates on Friday. We did again, no AC, DNS-based movement class, and it was absolutely cooking in that room. And basically, Julia just kicked our ass, which was amazing. And wrap it up. And luckily, Jeff Barron, myself, Taylor Primer, his wife Taylor, Kyle Thompson, and Keith Yoho, we all had an extra day in Prague. So that Saturday, we got to go walk around, see St. Vitus Cathedral. I got to watch a short symphony inside a cathedral in the square in downtown Prague. Went to a vineyard, had plenty of drinks. Pilsner Urquell is just on tap everywhere you go. Had a fantastic time, and then some of those guys went on for a whole another week trip into Geneva and Rome and everything like that. So takeaways from the course itself. These were some of the consensus moments from the course that every time you go to a DNS course, there's just kind of little like, aha, I wish I would have thought about it like that. I wish I would have heard that. I wish I would have had that cue. There were so many of those because it just, Brett Winchester always says DNS is like looking out into the ocean. It's just kind of an endless open concept. Got that one right on my test. Because it's this open concept, you're just constantly connecting the dots because it's a big amalgam of all of these concepts from Václav Vojta and Pavel Kolaj and Vladimir Yanda and Kara Levitt. All these people have smashed together all these things to literally create the Prague School. So the running joke was, oh, I feel like I really wasn't doing DNS before I went to DNSD, which everybody that is at the D course has had to take quite a bit of DNS just to get there. Other takeaways, just specificity within what you're doing, both in positions, knowing what the planned movement is. Yeah, and then you take the test. Now I'm a certified practitioner. Like I said, that doesn't that doesn't end. So to keep your certification, you have to take a seminar at least every year. I'm going to be back in Phoenix, which I'll do another vlog about that for the DNS Summit, taking manual therapy with Rich Olm down there. Just fantastic course. Came back fired up overall, but felt like, you know, I leveled up my DNS skills even more, which then excites me, but then helps my patients. That obviously is who reaps the most benefits from any of us, you know, going to these continuing ed things that we do. I can't say enough. Now my next goal within DNS is to get my wife to get all of the coursework to be able to go for a D course and hashtag Prague 2025 is to go back in 2025 for another D course, get her fully certified, and see what we can get going with Sloan and I. Because currently, to my own horn, I'm the only certified DNS practitioner in the state of Alabama. So got that going for me, I guess. Resume builder right there. Fantastic trip. Prague was amazing. Here's the final cherry on top, though. I told you I got my luggage back. I reroute back from Prague through Paris. I get to Paris. I have about a 3 or 4 hour layover. If you're flying international, it's not uncommon that, you know, a guy that works for Air France sets up a table. He's scanning our passports, scans everybody's passports. He's asking way too many questions. Everybody's getting a little frustrated. He doesn't work for customs. He works for Air France. You know, we sit down, then they call us for general boarding, and we line back up. I'm the first person in line for general boarding. And he sets his table back up while we're already in line and gets the passport scanner back out. And I have my headphones on and a hat, and he goes, you know, signals for me to remove my hat. And I took my headphones off, and all I said was, we have to do this again. And he goes, you have a problem? And snatched my passport, puts it on the corner of his table, and then does like hey, look at me to and I'm just asking, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Give me my passport back. There's an elderly couple right behind me in the line, like kind of sticking up for me, like, what did he do wrong? He won't say anything. A younger woman comes over, they're going back and forth in French, and then finally she kind of gives me a sideways look. She's like, I apologize. She pulls me aside. So I'm guessing that guy's a pain in the ass. And she pulls me aside. She goes, you do have to go through a special security check. I was like, Jesus, what's going on here? She carries my passport over to this other counter. They have me open my backpack, take everything out. As I'm doing this, I'm a little bit frustrated, a little more than frustrated. And a guy comes over with an envelope made out of a stapled piece of paper, and he goes, I think we have something for you. My wallet, everything in it, including the $86 in cash that I'd left in it. So all in all, got my luggage, got my wallet, had a great time, realized you don't really need a wallet. As long as you got your phone and all your credit cards on there and you got your passport, you can get away with a lot. And yeah, definitely going back. If you have any questions about DNS, or if you're a provider and wanting to go down the same path, let me know. Or if you're a patient, look for somebody that provides these services. Look no further if you're in the state of Alabama. Come on in. See you later.